But a couple of things to keep in mind. People say, well, we don't want World War III. Who does? But with the Russians, weakness gets you there quicker. They cannot afford to confront us. They cannot handle the Ukrainian army. Do you think they can handle NATO? Why don't we think boldly and strongly?
You're exactly right. The only thing that Russians respect is strength. And this is the thing that our foreign policy, it starts at the top.
That was Brian Kilmeade doing what Fox News does best, a little flag-waving American nationalism. But Kilmeade's tough on Russia position is not shared by most of his Republican colleagues. And as it turns out, Republicans have let Ukraine drag them into a territorial fight of their own.
I am repulsed by how the Republican Party is in harmony with the Biden regime on this. The Democrat Party is now the party of war. The idea of the Democrats being against the Iraq war and foreign imperialism, the American Democrat Party is fully on board with what is going on in Ukraine. The $200 billion spent, the money laundering that's probably occurring, the weapons that are just flooding that entire region. The American Democrat Party used to have anti-war elements, and they have been eliminated.
In Charlie Kirk's worldview, Brian Kilmeade might as well be a Democrat if he's going to support Ukraine, because as Kirk likes to pretend, the Democratic Party is now the party of war, even if U.S. action actually prevented an escalation in the conflict. And you can keep Brian Kilmeade, thanks. We're all good here. And there was actually a pretty funny moment in there. Did you catch it? Let's play the tape back and see if you can find where our pal Charlie tried to trick you.
The American Democrat Party is fully on board with what is going on in Ukraine. The $200 billion spent, the money laundering that's probably occurring, the weapons that are just flooding that entire region.
Hang on a second. The money laundering what?
The money laundering that's probably occurring.
Oh, I get it. So Charlie Kirk is admitting that the money laundering claims he's been trying to force into the media for months are actually just guesses. That could be because Charlie just made them up. Because it's Charlie Kirk. He's never going to shut up. You can give up on that now. And Charlie wanted to make absolutely clear that there's no path forward in the Republican Party for anyone who thinks Ukraine deserves an ounce of American support.
So now the voice of anti-war, not even anti-war, because that sounds really hippie. How about this? How about the voice of pro-America lives in a portion of the Republican Party? It lives on programs like this, on War Room, on Tucker Carlson, and you, the voters, are overwhelmingly disgusted by what you are seeing. You see your own beloved country invaded. And then you see your leaders send money abroad to go secure other people's borders while yours 5,000 people a day pour into our country.
At least Kirk lays it out plain for us. In the new Republican Party, it's people like him and Tucker Carlson calling the shots. That's a message that will ring loud and clear in the heads of a lot of Republicans thinking about running for president next year. But there is one big dope who is running for president. And let me tell you, he runs circles around Charlie Kirk when it comes to hating Ukraine. Now, not only has Donald Trump said the United States should stop supporting Ukraine completely, Trump now says it's about time we stop picking on Russia so much, too.
Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us.
You know, I never thought I'd see someone running for president with the proud campaign slogan of America sucks. But hey, that's Donald Trump for you. And with Mr. the President Donald Trump leading Republicans by double digits, he's the one setting the tone for the entire primary. Republicans know there's practically no path forward in the party for anyone who thinks Ukraine should be free. And that's putting some of the more calculating presidential hopefuls in a bit of a pickle. Take Nikki Haley. She once said some nice things about Ukraine and some bad things about Russia. That didn't make the party happy.
We have the backs of our friends, and we hold our enemies to account. And, you know, whether it's Ukraine or Israel, we take care of them because it's about freedom.
That was Haley just last month, before many of the party's top opinion makers made clear that embracing Ukraine was political suicide. But don't worry, Republican Party Chair Tucker Carlson set Haley straight on his show just a couple of days later.
She may be running to be the Republican nominee, but she is fundamentally indistinguishable from the neoliberal donor base of the Democratic Party. Nikki Haley believes in collective racial guilt. She thinks Ukraine's borders are more important than our own, far more important. She believes identity politics is our future. Vote for me because I'm a woman, she says. That's her pitch.
Tucker's segment was a reminder to Republicans. This is what you can expect if you step out of line. But if Haley was too cold on Russia for most Republicans, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis made the mistake of coming in way too hot. DeSantis refused to call the war a war, instead describing it as a territorial dispute between two parties. That led Senate Republicans, including John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, to slam DeSantis as out of touch. And it gets even worse. Cornyn and Cruz disagree on Ukraine even between themselves. It's clear Republicans simply aren't up to the task of handling a sensitive international crisis like Ukraine. The GOP isn't interested in real solutions. They want to turn Ukraine into just another prop for their 2024 campaign. That kind of immaturity puts our national security at risk. The GOP's total meltdown on Ukraine should send alarm bells ringing for voters. Russia is engaged in a war crime of staggering scope and savagery. If the GOP can't see that, they have no business being anywhere near government. The Trumpers have been busy this year. Check out this video for my full report on how Republicans are doubling down on their war against abortion rights. And as always, remember to subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know what I should cover next.